Welcome to News Central Exclusive. My name is Kayode Akintemi, and today I will be tackling a topic that resonates with a lot of Nigerians, and it's the issue of security in Nigeria and our military. From insurgency to banditry and the complex challenges of safeguarding a diverse and expansive nation like Nigeria, the role of our military has never been more critical. We do need them. Joining me today is a man who is at the heart of this mission, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Gwabin Musa, OFR. It's a great pleasure having you today.
Thank you very much.
So there's a lot that we would love to discuss with you, but I would love to start from the area that does interest me quite a bit, and that is sports. Congratulations on the Africa Military Games.
Thank you very much.
And from all the news stories that I'm getting, it indicates that Nigerian military men are fantastic sportsmen.
They're doing extremely very well.
Tell us about this.
Yeah, I think, well, the first time such an event was held was in Kenya 22 years ago. And Nigeria was supposed to host, but, well, this is 22 years later. We felt it was important that we host this competition because one, it's been hanging on our necks for 22 years, so it's good that we did away with it. But most importantly, again, to showcase Nigeria back internationally. A lot of stories, if you're outside what is said about Nigeria and insecurity, is the worst place you could ever be. But we wanted to show Africans, in fact, the whole of humanity, that Nigeria is safe, Nigeria is sound. The challenges we're having is not only related to Nigeria only. Every other country has its own security challenge. But we wanted to make that statement that Abuja, well, a fine city, a calm city for people to come here and see fellow Africans in the military. And again, opportunity for them to come and also unwind, interact with their fellow soldiers. I think it's a good thing, so because you could see the rapport between the athletes from different nations, but you could see that understanding that, yes, we are one and the same in Africa. We need to really do more to foster that unity between us, because the challenges is everywhere in Africa.
Yeah. About how many of the Nigerian military, the African military forces, how many countries are represented?
Yeah, we have about 22 countries are on ground.
Yes.
It will surprise you to know that we have Mali and Burkina Faso.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And
so
they're here with their military
playing
men, despite all the
the
politics does not affect the military.
At all. Yeah.
That's good. Now, let me just drill in a little bit. I will be interested in finding out, what is it that has made it such that many years ago when I was growing up, most of the athletes and superstars in the world of sports representing Nigeria at great competition were either in the military or in the police force. What has happened to them today?
I think over time, probably due to some challenges here and there, that really went down. But I think what we're hoping that is after this tournament, people will realize that it's important. Nigerians are gifted. In sports, in education, in every aspect. We want to harness the talent of Nigerians. There are some individuals, not everybody is equally gifted. Some academically, some talents in sport, music, arts and science. You can see what the entertainment industry is doing. If they don't have such opportunities, those ones that have those talents will just while away. So we're happy that we're doing this, and then we're going to use this to enhance our capacities in all the armed forces. Before now, we have done the inter-service competition where we selected our team. So the team is made up of Army, Air Force, Navy combined. And because everything we're doing now is joint, to ensure that we carry everybody along. And so we'll continue to do so.
Okay, so let's move on from there and begin to talk about the training that we give our military. What is it really like? Talk me through the kind of training that they receive. How does it affect the mentality of an individual? Because a lot of people now say that the military has eventually or somehow gone back to the dark old days when you see a military man on the road and you're scared. What is it in the training,
I
or
think
is it in the development?
it is more of perception. Well, the training is that one, you have to be disciplined, you have to be fit, because even the screening process is tough. We have to even check your background, check your health status, check everything about you to be sure that yes, you are who you are, and that you have the capacity. And even at that, when you come in for training, we make sure that you measure up to the standards. We'll give you the opportunity to develop yourself if you are not. But once we observe that you don't have that capacity, but most especially when you don't have the character, you are shown the way out. I mean,
Character is a big issue. Mental health, capacity to handle.
Health.
Is that checked on a
consistently
basis?
Drugs, we do drug tests before you come in. Your blood is taken, is tested to ensure that you are not into one drug or the other. We do that. So we try to give that holistic thing to make sure that when you come in, and then the training is rigorous because you are prepared for eventualities. Anything could happen. And then, so it has to prepare your mind towards it. And I used to remember that it's still being said, people, once they see, they say there's a particular drug, injection they give military men to be. No. It's just that once you are in the training you go through and the mental enhancements they give you makes you understand that, look, this is for real. And I have to really top to, because there's always a standard. If you don't meet up the standard, you don't make it.
So what about the very junior officers? The assumption more often than not is that the senior officers are very well behaved to a large extent. You talk about a military man who's an officer and a gentleman, but the junior officers like the lance corporals and others like that, what is it that makes it such that they easily are found wanting when it comes to issues of character?
Well, it has also to do with the training. You know, I don't think anybody wants a docile military because, I mean, then there shouldn't be military anymore. So somehow the training brings out that animal aspect of the military. And then for the junior ones, these are things that we have to curtail because of the nature of the training. They are made to be aggressive. That's their nature. So unfortunately, sometimes, and then as doing that, we're also teaching them on how to also contain themselves, respect for human rights, protection of the sick and wounded, you know, all these things that have to do with the rules of war and all this together, just to make them, but it is the nature of training that does that. So again, we have this prolonged, when you have a prolonged warfare in a place, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, comes in. These are things you have to manage because sometimes it's just, you see somebody become very aggressive because he has seen war, he has seen blood, he has seen corpses. Mm-hmm. It affects your human mind. And that's why you talked about the health of the human, mental health issues again. So these are things that we consistently try and check to make sure that the soldiers are above board, the soldiers are doing well. And again, we have the reward and punishment system. You do well, you are rewarded. You do badly, you are punished. And that has really curtailed. That's why I see in the military, nobody assumes, because whatever it is you do, you know the repercussion. We have our Armed Forces Act that takes care of every offense that you could be committed. And then we do not shy away in punishing defaulters.
So something as recent as the one that happened recently where a military man said to be a major general was said to have attacked a civilian.
Yes.
What will be the procedure for the military in that kind of situation?
Of course, the military police have already set in. They do the investigation and then they come out the report. Once they do that, the board is reviewed. Court martials are there. We have court martials, standing court martials all over. So once you commit, you go for the court martials. And from there, God knows what happens to you.
Okay. Let me ask you this then. Recently, I was in the U.S. for the United Nations General Assembly, and at the airport, you need to see the way people revered the military officers that seem to be traveling somewhere. They were treated so nicely, and they were given a hero's welcome and exit and all that. So they were treated that way. What do we need to do in Nigeria to create that level of perception and respect for our military?
We need to communicate more, you know, because the military had been in government over time, for some time now. So there's always that disdain for the military, being that we are, you know. So we have to really, changing that mindset has been a bit difficult. So that's why what we're doing now, and that's why you see we are being very proactive. We have the civil military department now that relates a lot with the civilians. We do programs like this so that we also sensitize civilians to understand that the military is not an enemy, the military is a friend. The military is there so that it can provide that protection that is needed for development to go, for people to feel free and secure within their own environment. So it's a work in progress. I tell you one thing, this same American soldiers that you saw, in the past during Vietnam War, it was different. During Vietnam War, because of the way the war was projected, the American public rose against the armed forces. They felt they went to Vietnam and they were just killing people like that. So people hated them. When they came back, they did not receive the hero's welcome. Nobody was there for them. In fact, people didn't want to do anything with the military. But they sat down and rebranded. They sat down and rebranded and then changed a lot of things. Deliberate efforts were made. And today,
so at that point, will we get to
we are working on that now. That's why we're doing a lot. We're sensitizing the people. We are also, during our lessons, during training, we let the soldiers and the officers understand that you are supposed to protect, not to impinge on individual rights. So that is work in progress that we're working on. And then gradually we attend a lot of courses both within and outside the country. We see how things are done outside and we're bringing those inside. It takes a while, but it's working gradually. And we can see that the reception is getting really warm. So we'll continue to do that to encourage that.
Some people did joke about the campaign of the current President Tinubu, when he said a lot of young people will not have to be jobless anymore. They will get a job, they'll work in the army, they will be recruited to the Navy. Yeah. Have we seen any increase in number of military men through recruitment?
No, we're still training. I think the armed forces, yearly we recruit over 10,000 or 20,000. Army, Air Force, and Navy. I think we're the only agencies that is recruiting that large number, because we have people still going on retirement, so we have to replace. And because it has to do with also age, because after a while one can't really give in his best. So we want to also make sure we maintain our troops' optimum performance in all they do. So we're working on all this, and we'll continue to do that.
Okay, let's move to the issue of security now. Generally, not too long ago, Nigeria was largely free of the scourge of terrorism. At what point did Nigeria become a country that is suffering horribly from the scourge of terrorism? Yeah. At what point, and how did we get to this point where it's not just the issue of terrorism, we're also facing kidnapping and a number of other issues that means that the work of the police is now being done sometimes by the military?
Yeah, thank you. Good question. Again, you look at the world now is a global village. So whatever is happening anywhere, you remember that in Afghanistan and all other countries, these things have been ongoing for a very long time. And what this shows is that when you notice the importance of good governance. Because what are these things that have caused this breakdown? Family values have gone. People no longer respect each other, no longer respect humanity. Everybody is into money. So the way manner you get it, nobody cares. So you see, those aspects you come in together. So when you don't have this family control, I know family is the unit that actually binds a community. Unfortunately, we're losing that. And again, when you have situations where there is hunger, poverty, illiteracy, terrible combination. So when we put all this together, there are individuals that will sit down and allow themselves to be carried away. And we have a lot of, in every community, we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are some individuals that just don't want seeing peace happening. And so they bring out all these ideas, this ideology that we don't like this person because it's this religion or it's this tribe or this, let's do this, let's do that. Again, societies must always be on the lookout for such kind of people and be able to nib it in the bud. For us, we missed that, and until it became blown, and Boko Haram became something else, broke out into ISWAP, banditry and the other, and then these are issues ongoing. And so we always said it that military solution is not the final solution. Final solution is equity, justice, and fairness. When you have dividends of democracy, people can have their food, can go to school, can have medical treatment. Good. When you have these things in place, all these aspects will go down. So that's why it's important.
So, General, I believe you're from Sokoto State?
Now, I was born in Sokoto, but I'm from Kaduna State.
You're from Kaduna. Okay, you were born in Sokoto. So let's combine both together. In Sokoto State recently, we've heard of the level of insurrection, and we've heard of the story of Lakurawa,
Yes.
and we've heard of other stories of kidnappers in Kaduna and in Sokoto. Now, you are somebody that grew up in the north, who's a northerner. When you see this kind of situation, what does this stir up in you when you know that as a military man, you should be in a position to be able to end it and end it decisively?
Very well, very well. I mean, growing up in Sokoto, we are immune from a lot of things. We never knew such things, really, because, I mean, it was so free. As junior officers, we used to travel. Whenever we wanted to travel, we travel at night. We felt more at night because it was safe. The weather was, but no hold up, no, so it was a good thing. So for Nigeria to be what it is today is really a big shock. And what I realized is that it takes everybody to make sure Nigeria is back on stream. The mistake people normally make is to think it's a security agency's problem, it's a governmental problem. It is everybody's challenge, because who are those ones doing this? Like I said, how did it start? It started from communities. People were seeing, people gave them protection. The Lakurawas you're talking were invited by the communities. They invited them in. They were together with them. They agreed, when you come in, you stay with us, we'll give you this, you give us that. Gradually, they started demanding for more, as always. And my advice for every community is, do not encourage such. Anytime you bring a monster in and you train him, he gets to the state, he will come for his own pound of flesh. And that's what's happening. Same thing happened with Boko Haram. The same thing with the bandits. The same thing with the Lakurawas. They were invited. They had a good relationship with the community. The community felt they were their own. These guys are not even Nigerians, for heaven's sake. But you brought them into your country and you kept them. And now, since they felt now they emboldened, they started taking over. And that's when the uproar started coming in. And but they're not just coming in for the first. They've been there since 2018. Within those communities, and everybody kept quiet.
So how is the military going to tackle this, or is it something
we're working together. We're working around the clock together too. Already actions have already been taken. You can see the actions are going down. They came in from Niger Republic. They came into, and that's why we said, for us to handle our security situation, all our neighbors, we must have good relationship with our neighbors, because it's critical. If we make sure we have good relationship and we're able to assist them to make sure that they stand strong, they will not allow anybody pass through them to us. You remember that Nigeria is surrounded by Francophone countries. We have different ideas on how to do things. So it is important that, and then again for the Northwest, we share about 1,500 kilometers of border. 7 Nigerian states, we share common affinity. We have culture, tradition, religion together. You go to some houses, the sitting room is in Nigeria, the bedroom is in another country. They don't know the difference. The brother is here and the father is there. So, these are things. So that's why, again, those are the things that make security very difficult, because for you are looking at the man like a bandit. The man there is looking at him like his brother. Blood is thicker than water. I was in Maiduguri as the theater commander. Most times when we give food to the IDPs, the mother wants her son to survive. She'll sneak that food to go and look for her son wherever he is. She doesn't look at him like a terrorist. She looks at him like her son. So you see, these are the complications that are involved in these aspects. But we're taking them in strides. The Ministry of Interior working very hard to ensure that immigration customs are able to hold the border area, because that's one other challenge. If your borders are porous, any sort of people come in. So we have issues of drugs, light weapons, and movement of weapons, human trafficking, all sorts of acts of criminality. And remember, the Sahel is challenged. Libya is down, no government for since how long? Sudan is at war. The Sahel region is just open for criminals. A lot of activities go on. You go there, weapons are sold and filled, ammunition. So these are issues, and everybody is looking forward to coming to Nigeria because they feel Nigeria is big, Nigeria has money, Nigeria has resources. So these are things that we have to work around to ensure that Nigeria remains strong.
So let's bring it back home then, from the Sahel and the rest of the region around the western part of Africa, and focus on Nigeria. What do we need to do for us to be able to say a specific timeline within which we will see a difference in the level of insecurity that we experience especially in the northern part of Nigeria?
Firstly,
what do we need to do?
What we need to do first is to take ownership of the challenges we're facing as a nation. Let us not play the ostrich thinking that it is somebody's responsibility. Everybody has a role. If you're in a community and some strangers come in and they say, report as quickly as possible. Don't harbor such kind of people, because you are creating more problem for yourself and the nation at large. If we're able to do that, it will reduce some of it, because as soon as they come in and they are not received, they will leave, or they'll be forced to leave. But once you give them that comfort, they stay. Next time they want to ask for more. These are areas we're looking at. And then for the, like I said, good governance. Good governance, equity, fairness, justice. Once people have that, you will see that sense of belonging. In every family, if any member of the family feels not loved, he's ready to sacrifice that family. That's the issue. We should have a nation that every Nigerian looks at himself like his brother. Not the idea of whether you are from the north, south, east, Christian or Muslim. No. We are Nigerians, and this challenge is a Nigerian challenge. So we should look at the issues we're having with issues of informants, like people that have taken it upon themselves to report the movement of the troops. They will always tell them, the troops, 3 vehicles have passed here, so number of people are here, this is where they are, come and get them, because you think you are getting money, from them. Some people feel it's not my business. Whatever I can get, it is. We have people that are trading with them. They get fuel, they buy full tank, they go there and offload, they give them because they are making some extra money, and they think that's just business. To them, he doesn't know that innocent people are being killed, blood is being shed, and that, these are things not to be encouraged. For the government is, yes, again, to be able to make sure that we have the equipment. We don't produce what we need. I give you an example, a drone. One of the missiles for a drone is about $200,000. One. So if you convert that to Naira, imagine when they fire one drone, $200,000 is gone. $200,000 just to one shot.
One shot.
So you can imagine, from the ammunition to the weapons we're using, everything we need we're buying with hard currency. The challenges are there.
I will want to dwell a little bit on the issue of ammunition and all that, because there's been people who have implied that the Nigerian military are so grossly underarmed and with very little funding. And that means that the firepower of the opposition, which is the terrorists, is a lot better than that of the military. But before you answer that question, can you help me understand, when you say that good governance is important to issue of insecurity, what do you think of the quality of governance we've had over the years? Because people said it was the military that made it difficult for us to have good governance in Nigeria. And then handing over to the civilian, they just practically continued along that
I think I really try to avoid this blame game. It's a Nigerian problem. Nigerians must stand in to solve this problem. So whether military or civil or whoever, is a Nigerian problem. The problem is here now with us. We must all come together to make sure we find a solution to it. And the solution is working together as a team. The terrorists, the bandits, they survive within communities. Any community that refuses to allow them to settle, they don't stay. They might threaten you, they might do anything, but once they know you are not with them, so that's the issue. And what they try to do is to win the hearts and minds of these people. Like the Lakurawas, they come with money, give you, look, the government is not here.
They're offering $1 million naira.
They can give you money, you can do that. And then the question you ask, where are they getting the money from? A lot of them are spending hard currency. Where are they getting it from? So you see, we don't want to talk about conspiracies, but these are questions you want to ask. How are they getting? How are they being funded? How are they surviving? They're not spending naira, they're spending hard currency.
We should actually talk about a conspiracy, because it is necessary. There are people who say that when you have the level of insurgency, the level of insecurity and criminality in Nigeria, follow the money. Are we following the money to find out who are the people sponsoring
We're following the money trail. Very, very important. But it's an international kind of cooperation that's been done. You remember Simon Ekpa was just following the money trail. We follow the money trail and we're able to track where these things are. So these are issues that we do, and that's why it's important for people to understand that do not support these people. There are people that were willingly just giving them money, saying, no, what they're doing is right. I feel it's okay. Because the worst person you can ever fight is a person who has nothing to lose.
Okay. So,
nothing. Nobody to cry for him, no family, no nobody. If he dies, gone.
So back to the issue of the insurgents having more firepower than our military. Is this an imagination?
No, it's an imagination. They don't. I think what happens is that this, like I said, you are fighting somebody who has nothing to lose. And from experience, before they go for any operation, all of them are drugged. Apart from the ideology the man believes in, he believes if he dies, he's going to heaven. If he kills you, he's going to get blessings. So on two-way thing is that he feels, in fact, in the Northwest, they will tell you if a civilian kills any of the bandits or any of the terrorists especially, he's going to hell. But if a soldier kills you, you're going to heaven. So he's happy. And he's going to help. So you can imagine that such things. They do not have more firepower. It's just that, they are on drugs. Even when you are shooting them, when the man's hand is amputated or his leg is cut, he's coming because he doesn't even feel the pain. Most times you get them, they have this tramadol that they pump directly into the veins before they come for operations. So by the time he's coming, the man is already drugged completely. He does not feel any pain, no remorse, no nothing.
Okay, we'll have to wrap up in a few minutes, but let me just say that we'll take a short break. And then when we come back, we'll talk about, very briefly, about insecurity in the Southeast.
Okay.
So we're still having a conversation with General Musa, who is the Chief of Defense Staff. And when we come back, we'll talk about the issue of insecurity in the Southeast.
Africa needs its own storytellers, people who understand the continent because they're from it. People who know that news is more than just a conversation starter, it's our stories. Because these stories run deeper than headlines and segments. It's about digging deeper to get the facts and telling the human side of every single story, not just the echoes from foreign headlines and perspectives. It's time to take back our narratives and share them in our voices. The birth of Africa's New Age reporting, and this is where it begins, right here at News Central TV, with stories that put Africa first.
Thank you for staying with us on News Central Exclusive. I still have with me General Christopher Gwabin Musa, who is the Chief of Defense Staff in Nigeria. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, let's talk about insecurity in the Southeast. What is the military? I know that there is a history of the military having a different excursion into the Southeast to try and stop the level of insecurity. As of today, what is Nigerian military doing about IPOB and that level of insecurity?
Yes, the similar issue. It's just that the Southeast, where that is different, is the secessionist ideologies that is being pushed by some individuals, very, very minute individuals. And to tell you the truth, it's not like they're doing it because they love the people. Because what we see, if you see the extent of killings, how they butcher people, and you said you are trying to protect them or you want to form a nation, but you are the one killing these people that you think you are saying you are trying to make them a nation. Who does that? I can tell you during our operation, when we get into most of the forests, you go and see a lot of graveyards with vehicles being carried, packed around it. What they do is that they just stop vehicle, kidnap individuals, take them to the bush, slaughter them, just like that. And so that's why we have been moving. And because of the terrain, the terrain is really forested, so it has its own challenges of operation. But we're working assiduously there to see that we bring, and we thank the citizens that despite this, we get a lot of cooperation from them. And we are working with. Now, the recent arrest of Samuel Ekpa, who has been the mastermind, pushing this idea of, while he's there in comfort, taking the citizenship of another country, but yet fomenting trouble in the Southeast. And unfortunately, there are a few people that really don't understand what the man's mindset is. He's having fun, enjoying himself, partying and doing all sorts, and yet pushing people to kill themselves. Whatever it is that he's doing has affected the economy within the general area. This Monday sit at home and all these things. But I'm happy that now finally the Finnish government have seen reason, because they were provided all they needed all the funding he's getting, all the things he's doing. He has taken ownership of the killings. He has taken ownership of a lot of things that have been going on. So they've picked him up now. And I can tell you the jubilation in the Southeast has been wonderful because people were just tired of
Was there a role played in the arrest of Simon Ekpa by the military by providing information?
No, it's a holistic idea by all the security forces. We looked at where the money, we trailed the money, what he was doing, the comments he was making. He's there live on TV, fermenting trouble, saying all these sorts of things, commanding people and action being taken. And when these things are done, he takes ownership of those things. So these are complaints.
So that is the documentation of all the things
everything had handed over to them. And they've seen it and they don't understand that, look, keeping him there is a minus for them. Yeah. Because it doesn't mean well.
Okay, so let's look at this sit-at-home thing. Is it that the military's intelligence is not as good as it used to be? Because the allegation is that the military doesn't even know where IPOB and the ESN, their security agency of IPOB is. Is it that the intelligence of the military is not as good as it used to be?
You see, one thing I need to clarify. Before now, we used to have conventional kind of warfare. One country fighting another country. Then the intelligence will have to go and look at those things. Now, you are dealing with non-state actors. Non-state actors are just ordinary people. If they don't bear arms, you don't know who they are. They're just ordinary people. So that makes it extremely difficult. And so even with the intelligence that you try to do, you have individuals that you cannot tell what is their intent. And then you have these people with ideologies. Those are with ideology, there's no way you can look at his mind and see what he's doing. But we're leveraging on technology. We're leveraging on because human intelligence for us in an asymmetric warfare is critical. That's why I mentioned that you must get the buy-in of the communities. If the communities accept them, it becomes more difficult. But if they don't, and realizing that these guys are just using them for what they want, and the communities refuse, it makes it difficult for them to operate. So it's not a matter of intelligence. Intelligence have been coming in here and there. Actions have been taken. But like I said, it's a whole of society approach. The armed forces cannot be everywhere. We cannot be everywhere. In fact, if you put in all the security agencies in the world, in the country, we can't man Nigeria totally. So that's why we need people to also look at what they see, they report. If you go abroad, you commit an offense, somebody will pick the phone and call police, somebody is doing this. This is the kind of thing that the communities have a responsibility to also do.
So what is the military doing to win the support of the people to the extent that they will be happy to do that? Because there's always still that fear.
So we do a lot of non-kinetic efforts, interactions with, we do a lot of dialogue, discussion with community opinion leaders. We do that. Then we do, again, most communities you go to, we provide water, we do provide our medical facilities. We do a lot. So in fact, sometimes in schools, we also provide teachers, just to show that we are with the communities, we are with the people.
The one that I personally see is the one that I've seen happening in Plateau State in Jos, because I know I was in Jos for a few weeks and we saw some of the work that the commandant, is it the third?
The GOC.
The GOC is doing. We saw a little bit, but we don't see that happening all around the country.
It is happening all over. We do a lot of dialogue, we do medical outreaches, we do so many things that we do.
Would you say that the military across board need to engage the media a lot more?
No, I think so. I think we need to do it. Before now we used to shy away, we used to be very timid about the media because somehow we felt over time that the media has not been friendly to us. Because most time, I give you an example. When I was in theater, when I was in Maiduguri as a theater commander, and I left there January 2023. In 2022, Reuters wrote an allegation against the armed forces, that abortion issue, that we did illegal abortion. And it was all over the world. It was all the media took it and everybody made us look bad. And I came out and said it was a lie. I insisted that there must be a thorough investigation on this. And then the Chief of Defense Staff, then General Irawo, invited the Human Rights Committee. They came, set up a committee. They investigated for 1.5 years. Just last month, they brought out the reports. But guess what? Nobody picked it. People were not interested because the military was not indicted. And the report said clearly there is nothing like that. but who reported? I was expecting that, yes, all the media, it will be awash in the media, also exonerating the military from it. Nothing happened. Yesterday, we had a very good operation in the northeast. A lot of Boko Haram killed equipment and all these things. We reported silent. Nobody's sharing it. We are holding the games, that's, you know, the games. Yes. A lot of effort. One would have thought everybody would have rallied around to make sure that these games is going to show Nigeria. So you see, these are the issues. So sometimes, you know, it is now that we're having that open conversation and the discussion with technology that we know that, look, the media has a good role too, because the perception.
The media is the fourth estate of the realm.
Perception is critical.
Yes.
Because you could be doing a good thing. If the perception is wrong, everybody thinks it is wrong. And the military is doing damn well. And we're happy that the media too is picking up on those things. And I think we need to do more. Because what we realize is sometimes when a soldier is killed or is injured or something happens, you will see it everywhere, online, and everybody is picking up. But when we achieve success, then it's quiet. So we imagine, what is it? Is it that they're not happy we're succeeding? You know, so these are the narratives I think the media should also try and look at. And then again, we have made ourselves accessible. If there are issues on ground, please get across to us. We're humans, we're Nigerians, we love our country. We'll tell you the truth. If we don't know, we'll tell you, look, we don't know, let's find out. I give you another example. I was at the National Assembly the other time. We're conducting a live program on national anthem. And the next thing is that there was a news flash. The CDS is dead.
Yeah. That is
and
true.
all the media kept on carrying, even till the next day. But meanwhile, they were watching me live on TV. Yeah. So, you know, so these are the issues we're talking about. I mean, you go the extra level and verify, you have access to us. So,
no, social media makes it more difficult.
Yes.
It makes it very difficult. But just before we wrap up, let me raise this issue. Recently, there was a threat by Asari Dokubo, and I know that a military man, a top brass military man, did respond to that. What do you think of the South-South insecurity at the moment and the threat coming from somebody of the status of Asari Dokubo?
Yes, you know, some of these people, historically look at how did they come about? What brought them to limelight? Issues of bunkering, issues of all these illegalities. They made money and suddenly they are where? So these are the things that we should not be able to, we should not allow to continue, because you do that, you are encouraging others. I tell you, I operated in the South. I mean, you see somebody, a family of two kids. One says he doesn't want anything, he's going to school. The other one is into militancy, he's making money because he's breaking pipeline, he's doing this, he's doing that. He buys cars, he does this. Nobody does anything to him. This one that is reading, use lamps to read and does these things. Is this that comes to give him money? So he'll be asking him, so what are you reading for? I didn't go to school, I have a car, I have these things. Why are you wasting your time going to school? These are the issues. So we need to really be able to bring out so that those ones that have this mindset, that it is only through illegalities that you can make life, you can become rich, or you can become someone in life. We need not to allow and encourage such kind of things.
But there are people who are alleging that the military is complicit in the bunkering business in Nigeria.
If you ask
why
me,
has it been difficult to identify those military men who are
we're doing, I can tell you we're doing a lot. If you remember, just about 3-4 months ago, Mr. President gave us a mandate. He wants us to achieve 2 million barrels by December. We went in, we stepped in. Now we're doing 1.8 and plus from where we were before. Now, the issue of the South, the oil producing area, there's so many issues that need to be addressed. It is not about for us, it's a very simple thing. We catch you, you go for court martial. We have jailed a number of them, we have dismissed so many. We recruit from the community, from the society. So we're not bringing angels. And I cannot tell you we're all angels, because we also have the good, the bad, and the ugly. But the good thing for us is we identify them, we bring them out. So we do not encourage it. And that has really helped a lot. And the measures we are putting in place now, we have a monitoring team independently that report directly to the Chief of Defense Staff Office. We have the intelligence center that report directly. So that has also added to the system we have on ground. But like I said, there are a lot of things that need to be done to clean that area for us to really achieve what we're doing. There's so much to be done.
But are you worried about someone like Asari Dokubo threatening the military? Does it bother you?
I don't know. I'm not sure I should get myself bothered about that because, everybody could wake up in the morning and say anything that comes to his mind. So I just look at it like one of these things. He knows quite clearly that he can't take the military. I mean, it's not possible. So he has the freedom to say whatever he wants to say. I mean, that's his freedom as a Nigerian. So we'll take it like that, but he should not cross the line because he knows if he crosses the line, the law will take its course.
Are there people in Nigeria with ground-to-air missiles or short equipment?
Not at all. I mean, that is even crossing the line. You even have that. You've just crossed the line exactly.
Okay, now just as we wrap up now, let me ask the question on welfare of the military men. You deploy them all around Nigeria, and in some cases you send them out on assignments outside the country.
We have a lot, yeah.
What are we doing to ensure that our military men feel safe? Because there are so many videos making the rounds online showing that military men are saying, they're not taking care of us. We're not getting anything. And we're struggling.
I can bet you most of those videos are very old videos. For a very long time now, I can't remember the last time we had situations where somebody would go and complain about not getting his salary, not getting his allowance, or is not treated well. We make sure that those injured are taken care of. It cannot be perfect, definitely, because we're humans, for anything. But I can guarantee you that we look into every aspect of their welfare. If a soldier is injured, he's taken for treatment. If he's dead, the family members are taken care of with their entitlements. Now, the issue is the amount enough? That is another ballgame. But again, it's not only the military. The country is going through so much in the economy. So we too are battling with that. Other aspects too need to get some funding. So that's what we're doing. But from what is the entitlement of every personnel, whether officer or soldier, he gets it. I will make sure that he gets those items. While we are working towards increment, because that's what we think. With the current economy things, I think a lot could be considered. I'm sure Mr. President too has a promise he was going to look into it to see how he can increase the salaries and allowances.
Okay, so salaries and allowances takes me to that final bit about the budget for the military. Where do you think we are? Because the budget has not really increased to a substantial level that you can say that we're taking care of our military the way we should. Would you be making an appeal through this platform to Mr. President or the Nigerian political elite to say, increase the budget for the military if you want more results?
Very well, very well. That is very critical. We're making that appeal. What we're doing now is we're looking at, we're doing a holistic review of our entire requirements, both administratively, operationally, welfare-wise, and all. And I want to make that comprehensive so that we can help the government. Because the idea, we think, is that the government doesn't really understand the challenges we're going through. So we have discussed on this. We're working on these aspects. We're going to do that so that when we get holistically, we can say, okay, this is where we are. This is where we want to be. If we get this, we can do this. Because I can tell you, from the successes we're achieving, I think it's a miracle that we're really doing that. Because there's so much. America was in Afghanistan for 20 years. America produced all the weapons. They were spending at one time almost $1 billion daily. How did they end up? So asymmetric warfare is one kind of warfare that is really, really very difficult to deal with. So my advice for every country, don't allow it start. Nip it in the bud because it's a very difficult operation.
So when it comes to ranking then, how do you rate Nigerian military currently? Considering the fact that the budget is not where it should be, considering the fact that the level of training you're pushing as aggressively as you would want, but you probably aren't getting up to 50% of what you would want.
Yeah, but I think you look at it from the aspect of the result we're doing. I mean, since we came in a year plus now, at least a lot of things have improved, not like it used to be. The impunity that's been done before has really reduced drastically. I think that's where we want to use that to measure. Now we've said, okay, with this, we can do this. Now, if we get more, we can do more. And the president has listened. The president is listening. National Assembly is listening. Everybody now is willing to ensure that we support the armed forces to do more. And not only the armed forces. The police is critical. We need to also make sure that our police are standardized and they are up to their game. It's very, very important. No nation develops if you don't have a good police. It's very, very critical that we must make sure. Then you look at the aspect of the civil police, you're taking of the police, judiciary, the correctional facilities you're having, border management. So these issues, you must get them together. If you have them, then you have a good society. Otherwise, there will be problem.
Okay, to wrap up finally, I'm a product of the 1960s. And between the 1960s and the 1980s, there were several coups. And we know that when a coup happens, it ends up in either the person who's put the coup together, take over government, or end up in front in the firing squad. And that is called treason, treasonable felony. Yeah. And that is a very grievous offense.
Very grievous, yeah.
Now, a lot of Nigerians are wondering, where does the military stand when it comes to a case of young people carrying placard, being aggressive about the fact that they want Nigeria to get better and end bad governance, which you have also alluded to. So when that happens, and some people say they should be tried for treasonable felony, which is the same kind of offense, that military coup planners are being subjected to and facing firing squad. Where do you stand as a father on things like that?
Yeah. I think what we for us is one, preventive, not allow it get to that level. And what we do is by being professional in our conduct. And then, like I said, appealing also to the political leaders to also do their own bid. Because if they do, if the political atmosphere is fine.
Is the military appealing to politicians?
We talk to them. We try to put, we discuss a lot because we need to work with them together. The military is just a tool from government. So it's just, we need to work together because this is our country. We have been to Liberia, we have been to Sierra Leone, we brought peace to Congo, to Tanzania, we have all over the world. As we speak, we still have Nigerians also doing the same thing. We have we're in Gambia as we speak, we're in Central African Republic, we're all these things, helping them to stabilize. So the military is the one protecting democracy. And in Nigeria, that's why no military man is interested in taking over any power. Anything of cool now is gone. We thrive better in a democracy. And that's what we want it to continue. And we'll continue to protect our own democracy.
Are you getting positive response from the politicians?
Yes, very well. We're getting good response, yes. They really understand what we're doing because we are very open. We have been able to explain to them what we're going to, what we need as a military to be able to do better. And I can tell you that they're working towards ensuring that we can't get 100%, but at least we'll get better.
Okay, so finally, I think I must say thank you very much for the conversation we have had. When people refer to the military as being sometimes erratic, sometimes dangerously aggressive, and things like that, what will be your advice, on the one hand, to your subordinates, the junior officers who are creating this impression, and what will be your words to Nigerians who are seriously feeling threatened by the actions of some of the military men?
I just tell the troops that, one, they should continue to be professional. And professional tells you that you should respect every human being. We are not supposed to add to the problems on ground. We're supposed to be a solution to this. So we should learn how to respect people's rights. If there are issues on land, let's be able to train and identify who are the criminals and who are the innocent ones so that we don't mix them up, because that's where you get a lot of issues, when you carry innocent ones and deal with them instead of the criminals. So we must be able to do that together, working as a team, acting professionally, and also in synergy with the population. Anywhere we are deployed, if the people are not happy with us, then there's a problem. So that's why it's very critical to wherever we are. And then to Nigerians, it's for Nigerians to also take ownership of our challenges. Take ownership of Nigeria. Support the military. If you have any grounds against anybody, report. Action will be taken. We do not hide our personnel. Anybody who commits an offense, he'll be investigated. If found guilty, he will be dealt with. They know it. And they know we're serious about that. So that is very, very important for us, and that's very critical for Nigerians to understand. We should not support any acts of criminality, because that's how it starts. The trajectory for criminality is, it starts normal theft, robbery, comes to terrorism, insurgency. When you fight them to stand still, it falls down through, comes back again to terrorism, comes out to acts of criminality, armed robbery, and all these things. So we can see that we're going towards that level. So we need to put more pressure so that people can understand that, look, crime does not pay. If criminals are prosecuted as at one do, they are paying the price, it will bring this issue down. And then for our political leaders, the importance of fairness, equity, justice, democracy, dividends of democracy. It helps a lot.
So when people are saying they're hungry, democracy has to work.
Yeah, has to work.
What about the morale of the military men themselves?
Yeah, no, but of course, that's when I mean, if it is working, the morale is good. But we as commanders, we make sure that we take care of our men.
General Christopher Musa, thank you so much
Thank you.
For your time, the Chief of Defense Staff. So honored and glad to have you on the show.
Good to see you. Thank you.
News Central exclusive.
All right.
On that note, I want to say a big thank you to the Chief of Defense Staff who has spared time to speak with us today on News Central exclusive. We're expecting that at some point in the future, because of what you have said, the military will be more open to have conversation with us and to discuss.
Yes.
Thank you so much, and do stay with us on News Central. My name is Kayode Akintemi.